Weekends on UME Radio. Get the UME Radio app.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Oh, yes, girl. Get your cup of tea and mic check, 1, 2. I am so ready.
To inspire, motivate, and educate. Weekends on UME Radio. The sun is up and so are we.
News, interviews, hot topics. Connect with us. Let us know what's on your mind. Follow, comment, subscribe.
We're everywhere. UME Radio app, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, and all other digital platforms. Email us info@umeradio.com. On WhatsApp, 201-503-6731. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UME Radio. Follow me, Jesse, on Instagram at ink.jess, that's ink.jess, and on Facebook at Jesselyn Abel, that's JESSELYNE, Abel, ABEL.
And follow me, Marsha J, on all social media platforms at official Marsha J. Or you can just check out marshajnow.com.
Weekends on UME Radio with Marsha J and Jesse.
Amplifying the voice of positive influencers.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.
And so at this time, we're going to transition into community support. We'll be right back.
All right, guys, so let's talk about the community support real quick. So the primary intent of community support is to help persons who have put in efforts to participate in the community to make it better by providing them with support, access to local resources. And today we have an awesome guest, Dr. Ramycia McGhee, who created the Second Chance Scholarship inspired by her mom, Valencia Cooper. Miss Dr. McGhee, how are you today? Thank you for being on the radio show today this morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am doing great. I am so excited to speak to you and get to know you a little bit better. And for our new listeners who haven't heard about you or know about you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you created Second Chance Scholarship?
Well, my name is Dr. Ramycia McGhee. I am a professor of English and Literature at Lynn Benton Community College in Oregon. So actually it's 6:25 a.m. here on my side of the world.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very early. But I am fine and I'm up and I'm awake. And so thank you so much for having me. And I just want to give a shout out to my friends who's listening. Shanice Brown, Colleen Taylor, Dr. Taylor. All right. So I have been a professor for about 11 years. I started off working at the City Colleges of Chicago, teaching English, and then I was a writing consultant, and then working and ran a tutoring center that was geared toward ESL and ELL students. So that was a really wonderful experience. And I was, while in my doctoral degree in 2013, my mom passed very unexpectedly from a heart attack. And I was, of course, very, very, very devastated. It was only my brother and I. He's 13 years younger than me, and he's in college right now and graduating in May. And so it was just a very devastating situation. I mean, to lose a parent is just very, very horrible, especially a mother. And I told my brother that then I wanted to do something for my mother, but I didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. And when I moved here to Oregon 3 years ago, I started, my college has a partnership with the Oak Creek Youth Correctional Center, which is a youth correctional center for girls. And my mother was a service advocate and worked in Chicago with women who were HIV positive and who were recovering addicts. And so because of her dedication to service and me having some service background, I worked in nonprofits for some time. I'm a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which is service-based sorority. And then working over at the Oak Creek Youth Correctional Center, I thought, oh my God, this is it. This is what I want to do. And I talked to my brother about it, and I said, I want to start a scholarship that will honor mommy in a way that she hasn't been honored before, and that her legacy will live on. And he was like, yeah, I think you should do it. And I did it, and I'm very happy about it. I'm very proud about it. It's an amazing opportunity for those young women. We all make mistakes, and we at Second Chance Opportunity believe in second chances, because my mom had several second chances throughout her life, throughout her career. And so we just believe in that as a base for providing education as a vehicle for moving forward in life. My parents always preached education in my household, and this being a service project that incorporates education, there is kind of like marrying the two. And so I think this is a great way to do that. And so many times people who are in the criminal justice system don't often get the second chances or third chances or fourth chances that they deserve. It's and sometimes those juveniles are overlooked in cases. I mean, we all make a lot of mistakes when we're younger. And I believe that it is my mission to promote education, my mission to promote women, young women of all colors, and disproportionate women who seem to be obviously are African American and women of color. And Oregon is a very unique place because it's predominantly white, but you will be surprised at the demographics that they get at Oak Creek, and a lot of those young women look like us, Black women. So.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. And I just want to get to know a little bit about your mom. I know that she truly valued education, and that's why you have the scholarship in inspiring in her. What other values did she instill in you that you're instilling in these other young women?
You know, one thing about parents, they don't tell you everything about their life at once. And my mother was able to instill a lot of things in me and my brother, and in me particular over the years. She told me a lot of things that happened to her as a young woman, a lot of things that she had survived. You know, my mother she was very raw, right? She wasn't sugarcoated at all. And she would tell me, if you haven't seen certain things, keep living, you know, and you know, just giving me wisdom about, you know, being aware is to be alive, you know, watching people who are in your circle. She used to have a saying like, you know, these streets was, you know, chew you up and spit you out. So I used to ask my mom, I was like, Mom, why do you act like everybody they out to get you? I would always ask, you know, and she would be like, you would be surprised. And I will have to tell you, everything my mother said was the truth.
Wow.
There are people in this world who don't like you because they don't like you. For no cause. You know, my mother was a praying woman, but she was also very street, and she was also common sense, you know, and she just taught me a lot of things about, you know, being aware, continuously moving forward in life. There was a time when I felt I had to, you know, we all have this thing, we have to move back home. And at the time I was married, and my ex-husband and I moved in with my mom because we like, we're just gonna, you know, save for a house. And my mom was like, well, you can't save for a house, you know, living in an apartment. And I was like, I don't know if I want to live backward, you know. I know my mom and I, like, in the house. And my ex was like, oh yeah, let's go. So we did. And I just remember her saying, I felt, I was like 26 or 7. And I felt like, oh, why I have to move back home? You know, I've been on my own for so long. And my mother was like, shit happens. That's exactly what she said. She's like, life just happens. It's okay. Things happen. You can't let it get you down. You got to keep going. And that was really a foundational moment for me, you know, and I always have to tell people, you know, things just happen. You can control the controllable. That's it. You know, and my mother was a very strong woman. She had been through a lot of things. She was very resilient, and in the things that she had done throughout her young 51 51 years. My mother died at 51. She's very, very young.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that her life could have been gone years and years ago from previous
Mm-hmm.
experiences. And I'm grateful that she lived. And she really did live that second part of her life awesomely. And I am just very honored that God chose her to be my mother. She was
Right.
perfect.
Wow. Wow, that is really powerful, especially when you said things just happen. Like, especially what's going on right now. No one could plan what's happening right now. None of us knew. We thought 2020 was like, okay, eyesight open and everything's gonna be good. And now we're just like,
What's happening?
right, what's happening? Right. But I want to also congratulate you, because I don't know if people know, but a few months ago, you received Community Member of the Black Excellence Award from Oregon State University. So I want to say a major, major congratulations to you. And I know that you worked with Black History and Women's History projects. So that is awesome, Dr. McGhee. Can you tell me more about what you did, about all those projects that you did?
Oh, thank you so much. I received that award in 2019, which was such an awesome award. But it was I didn't even know I had no idea I was getting it. So sometimes I volunteer or guest lecture at Oregon State University for various classes. One class is called The Black Effect, that is ran by two of my Greek brothers, Terrence Harris and Jason Dorset. And they were like, can you come in and guest lecture? I was like, cool. But before then, when I first moved to Oregon, I reached out to my Greek family. At the time, the assistant director of Greek Life, I'm sorry, J Bernard, he actually was like, okay, you're coming to Oregon. I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna tell. I was like, tell me, give me the real. Like, what am I kind of walking into in a sense? And he was from LA, and he told me some good things. He's like, I'm gonna put together you a meet and greet so you can meet all the Black people that I know here and all the Greek people I know. And they kind of they are my instant family. They are my Oregon family. And at the Black Cultural Center, which is what Terrence Harris runs, they have we used to have Soul Food Sunday, and you can volunteer and bring food over. So I would just bring whatever, I would make a salad, pie, whatever, and take it over for the students. And this was mostly every first Sunday of each month. And then would participate in Black Connect, whatever they needed, I would participate. And it wasn't that they asked, it was just, it was a great way of networking. It was a great way to see more people that look like me in a predominantly white state, and working at a predominantly white institution. So it was really a great way to gather. And I found out about the nomination. They sent me an email and was like, you've been nominated for the Community Member Black Excellence Award. And I was like, what? It was very, very just taken aback. And in that time, I had also established the first Black History essay contest over at my college, and had done a lot of the Black History programming at my college, and did the breast cancer awareness program. I did a Women's History Month program. And these things I was just doing. No one was asking me to do these things. I was just doing it. And my college is a big proponent of throw something up against the wall and see if it sticks. If it sticks, keep doing it. If it doesn't, try again. And when I got the okay to do that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And it was well received. So well received that yes, I received the award, but also I was asked to be a random reviewer for the Corvallis and Albany Public Library to read a book and to discuss that book during Black History Month. And the name of the book was Sing Unburied Sing by Jasmine Ward, who is a Black authoress, and recently, unfortunately, lost her husband to COVID-19. But she's an amazing writer, went to HBCU. And so I was able to read that book, talk to this very all-white, older, retired crowd in a sense. And they were really taken aback by the presentation that I gave and the book that I read. And it was just an awesome, awesome experience. And so I got the Black Excellence Award, and it wasn't something that I set out to do. It came as a complete shock and surprise, but it did come with some perks, right? My own college Like, it's like, we need to do a photo shoot, we need to do a story, all these great things that were happening. And I know that it's not of my own strength, but it really was of God. I want to give him the glory. I don't want to take any type of, glory for this. I'm super excited that he was able to choose me and put me in a position to do the things that I need to do, and that his light shines, and that it shines because people saw it, but I was very, very excited. I'm very grateful that I was able to get that award and able to continue to do my work at LBCC as well as Oregon State University. And even with that, I just got a new dean who came to our school, and they're like, what are you doing for Black History Month this year? Like, everybody's asking, like they know it's coming. They're excited about it. I just, release time. So I teach less classes just to do programming, because I was still teaching my full load and doing all this programming, and didn't even think that, I should ask for some time. And my old department chair was like, I'm going to advocate that you get some time, a release time, so that you can really, have some extra time to do program without feeling so bogged down. And I didn't feel bogged down. I was just super busy. And I was like, I'm fine with that. I'm used to multitasking. I'm used to being super busy. Right. But when you are working in the quote vineyard, you are not concerned about who's watching. You are really doing it because it's what you love to do. And I did.
That is awesome. And I know from my standpoint, I grew up in a city and then moved to a predominantly white area, but my school in the city was it was a Christian Black-based school. So we took Black History Month seriously and learning about it. And then when I moved to a more Caucasian area, Black history was just Martin Luther King, maybe a day or two, and that was it. Can you tell us the importance of why Black history needs to be talked about, especially in our community?
Absolutely. So I grew up in Chicago. I'm a native of Chicago, and I grew up in the inner city on the west side. And so growing up, and I went to Henry Suter Elementary School, which was a big proponent of not only African-American history, but African history. So my elementary school would take students for their 8th grade. 2 of my cousins went to Ghana and Ivory Coast for their 8th grade graduation trip. Okay. Wow. Learning to speak French and Igbo and Swahili in 3rd and 4th grade. I was learning traditional African dances and doing poetry from Langston Hughes to Maya Angelou. So for me, I had always had a very strong background of Black history. Okay. And so, and then when I was at City College of Chicago, it was a big thing, but it was a big thing because again, it's, Chicago is on the west side. A lot of the schools are in the inner city. So you have to you have to teach to your audience, right? You wanted to bring that. What I did notice was that when I went to high school, it was a big thing, but it wasn't as big as it was in elementary school. And that for me was like, huh? And then when I went to college, I went to University of Wisconsin-Whitewater for my undergraduate degree. Go Warhawks. And it was a big thing, but it wasn't as big as I had seen it, right? Because again, it's a predominantly white institution. Right. But I did see the things that were implemented. I saw the speakers, I saw the mini series, I saw the movies, I took the classes. So I knew that it was important, and it is important. So one of the things I want to say is that it's important to know our history. And a lot of times when people talk about Black history, they start at slavery. Let me just be very clear that our history did not start with slavery. It did not. When you think about the Moors and things of that pre-colonial Black history is a fascinating. I'm actually in the midst of developing a course of pre-colonial. So it will not just be about starting from slavery. Now, when we start from slavery and we talk about the resiliency of Black people and what we did and what we've overcome and what we continue to overcome, that is very important for people to know. You have to know a foundation. I teach a course, Introduction to Poetry, right? And in my introduction to poetry class, I only cover Black poets. You know why? Because in this particular region, they are not talking about Langston Hughes. They're not talking about Countee Cullen. They're not talking about Esther Propel. They're not talking about Angelina Grimke. They're not talking about these people. You know why? Because these people have been left out of the conversation. And I talk about them, and we only cover the Harlem Renaissance poets because that's first of all my favorite my favorite era in Black history. But more importantly, it was a young people's movement. It was post-Civil War. It was an explosion of Black culture, Black literaries, Black playwrights, Black actresses and actors. So it was actually entitled the New Negro Movement. Okay. So it is very important that we talk about these stories and that they're not left out the conversation, so that the things that we're going through now won't continue to perpetuate. It is a dang on shame that we are still having the issues that we are having, and the poetry that we are reading in my current class is still very relevant. Yeah, which means we have not made as much progress as we think we have. But it is very important that we have this, and I think it's very important that we expose. Sometimes we hold people accountable for things they don't know. So which means we have to expose them. We have to plant seeds. We have to educate. We have to have hard conversations. And people have to acknowledge. And the more they acknowledge, the better off there will be. I was very nervous about teaching all Black poets in a white school. I was nervous about, even teaching African-American lit. I mean, the real African-American literature, right? And one of my teacher mentors, who's a white woman, Robin Happenick, was like, that's the beauty of being a teacher, is academic freedom. You teach what you want to teach. And my students were so receptive. It has been an awesome experience. That's why I continue to teach it, and I continue to teach it in its way. And we must not only teach history, we must teach current. Okay. All of the things that are happening now, that's history, but we have to teach current Black. What are people doing now? Black empowerment. What are Black literaries doing now? What are Black actresses and actors doing now? What about Black playwrights? How are we moving the needle? How have we moved the needle? So that's it's very imperative. It's very imperative.
And I know, as well, I'm a Black poet, I guess. I'm not like all the way up there or anything like that, but I know the importance of art to our community, whether it's writing, whether it's music, that it's one of the ways where we just instantly ingest, culture. And, if we perpetuate, positive thinking, and to know more about what we are as a community, then our movement may actually change and grow. And I was talking to my best friend about when you said all of these issues are now at the rise in our country. It's opened up. I'm not going to say his name, but he opened all of these issues that were just simmering in America, and now it's out there in the open. We've been telling you this before. It's not new. But now, how are we going to address the issues? And we actually have a comment from a listener who has a question. They said, do you think Black Americans lose when they don't get or take the opportunity to visit Black countries or African countries?
Do I think that they lose?
Yes, I believe they're saying, like, do you think they lose, a part of them or insight?
I think that can happen, but I also want to say this: when we talk about other countries, there is a huge disconnect, in my opinion, between continental Africans and African Americans. Okay, when we talk about African people, we are encompassing the diaspora, right, of all African people and African descendants. Do I think that they lose, or I shouldn't say I think that we lose opportunities anyway if we're not traveling and being more cultured. That goes without saying. But we have to understand that everybody is not privileged or privy to moving forward and going, or not moving forward, but everybody's not privileged and can go to another country and study, can go to another African country to have conversations. Everybody may not have that opportunity. So there are other ways that they have to get it, i.e. education, which is a vehicle for that. I fortunately had the awesome experience of studying in South America several times, Peru and Brazil. And I've traveled around the world on my own account. And thankfully, one of my aunts who had me traveling very early, Justine, I was really cultured when I went to college about different countries. But I think that I think there is a loss when you are not cultured and when you don't travel. There, and I used to tell my students in Chicago, come off the west side, go downtown Chicago. Like some had never been downtown.
Wow.
You know, there are people even in this community who have never been out of Albany, Oregon. I tell my biracial students who sometimes have a really hard time of connecting either way. And I had a young lady, you know, and she looks more African American. And then I had another young lady who looks more white, you know, depending on, you know, and so the one who looks more African American, I said, listen, I cannot tell you about how to be a biracial woman in America, but I can teach you how to be a Black woman, because when people look in this office, they see two Black women. They don't see a Black and biracial woman.
Right.
And I said, but one of the main things is you have got to get out of Oregon. You got to get out of Albany for sure. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You know, and she's like, I'm from Portland and I moved here. Yeah, baby. And you got to get out of Oregon. You have to live somewhere else. I would encourage anybody to travel. And if you can live or study in a certain space or place for a nice amount of time. If you're in college, study abroad. If you are not in college, try to find a way to get out of the country so that you can see us from the inside out. When I went to South America, when I was in Lima, Peru, I walked up to this Black, who I thought was a African-American man or Black man, and he's speaking like fluent Spanish. And I'm like, huh? And I'm speaking to him and he's just smiling because he don't understand what I'm saying. But that just lets me know we are everywhere. Dark as we are, beautiful as we are, melanated as we are, everywhere. And because when they took slaves, they didn't just drop them in North America. Okay. They dropped them everywhere. And so we definitely have to make sure that we at least try to use education again as a vehicle to learn if we cannot physically get to another country. And I think that if we do that, we'll be better off, you know.
Yeah. And I know that, especially when you mention like slaves, I actually had like a conversation with me and two of my other girlfriends. We were talking about, I don't know if you heard that there was talk about like reparations within the community and stuff. And they were kind of arguing back and forth, like, does certain Black people are allowed to get these reparations than other Black people, and I was like, you guys know that the diaspora was not just America, it was the West Indies, it was South America. My parents came, you know, from there, and it was Africa. And then like, how do you trace it back? Because if you have a slave in America that was freed, you don't know our ancestors like that, and then just happened to move to Canada. So now all of your family, you're thinking you're like Canadian. Do you still get that? Because, you know, how do you feel about that?
Reparations is a whole nother, I think, layer of hurt that Black people had to endure. But let me just say this. So the first reason why reparations came up is because And although, yes, it incorporates the diaspora of African people and African descendants, when Black people were free from slavery and emancipated, they were promised 40 acres and a mule. We ain't never get that. Okay, and I don't want no mule right now. I'll take 40 acres plus.
Yep.
So do I think that we deserve it? Absolutely. Is there a way that we can do that? That's yet to be seen. One of the things I've seen a lot of people propose is that Black people should be able to not pay taxes, right? All Black people. No taxes. We should just get our money and no taxes, right? Not pay any taxes. That's one proposal I've heard. I've also heard a proposal of not paying for education, right? Not having to take out student loans, right? So there are a couple of things on the table. But it's very hard. It's a very hard conversation. It's a very hard way of trying to narrow down. Do I think we deserve it? Absolutely. For all the hell that we have been through and that we are continuously. And I mean on a daily basis. And I'm not even talking about as of recent. I'm talking about I've been Black all my life. Okay. This did not just start happening. Let's be clear. Right. These things have been happening. Redlining. Okay. Oppression. Jail systems. I had the opportunity of going to the lynching memorial in Alabama. I don't see how Black people live in. You see how I call it Alabama. People live there, but I was standing at a concert on the water where slaves were brought in. I stood in a shop on a block where slaves were auctioned off. Okay. I was able to go through this lynching memorial, and these were all the Black people who had been lynching that they could narrow down. You understand me? From the 19th all the way. And why were Black people being lynched? Just because they were being Black. I saw things that so-and-so was lynched because he was annoying a white woman, or so-and-so was lynched because he was making a statement. It was ridiculous, right?
Right.
And then I was also able to visit the museum from slavery to mass incarceration. I mean, these things go back. So yes, I think reparations should be paid, and I would be a fan of it being paid through education. That we shouldn't have to pay for education.
Yeah.
Because the student loan debt that people get out of coming out of school, I have 3 degrees. Okay, with them 3 degrees, I have bought. I'm just gonna say the total. I done bought me a real nice house and a real nice car, maybe 2 cars, considering how much loan debt it is.
Wow.
So I am a very big fan of it being that. I'm a very big fan of it being that.
Yeah. We have another quick question here before we wrap up from a listener. They said there is a lot of classism in the Black community, even when people who we know who become like classes, I'm not sure if that is a word, after they leave the same place where they're from as you are from. I'm guessing about like classism in the community.
Yeah, but let's be very clear. It's classism in all communities, and that's not unique to Black folks. And I want people to really get that together. That is not unique to us. People move when they get a better job, they get better things, and they move up. I want to be honest here. I am in my early 30s. Okay, I am not finna be standing in lines to get in clubs. Do I got the money to get a VIP table? Absolutely. I'm gonna do it. Do that make me bougie? Well, okay. People get money or make the decent living, and they want better things. There is nothing wrong with that. And I need the Black community to stop making people feel poorly for wanting better or wanting to provide better because they're making money. You know, do they? Because sometimes and let's be clear, when I was working in the City College of Chicago, I had to live in the city because I worked for the city. That was a mandate. Did I want to move out the city? It wasn't something that I wanted to move out, but it's very expensive to live in the city of Chicago. And the poverty line is there. So, and then people talk about classism. There's classism in there was classes in the Bible. Okay. Classism has been in existence forever. That is not unique to Black people.
Yep. That is so true. Excuse me, we have one quick question and then we might have to wrap up. So this listener said, have you heard how Ice Cube is being attacked by Blacks in the media? Why do you think we are so critical of each other?
Well, Ice Cube was out of control for what I ain't no fan of what happened. I don't know what happened, but when I listened to his explanation, he said nothing. It was nothing that was like, oh, okay, no. And so I think that's why he's being attacked. When you go from, and here we go again, right? Ice Cube came from NWA. He came from the bottom. He moved up. People felt they were betrayed. Now, it is a way to handle everything. It is not what you do, it is how you do it. And then after that, he was put on display by the Trump administration and looked like he was pandering. That's why you have got to be careful of how you navigate and how you move. He should have known better. Do I think that we're critical of each other? Yes. You know why we are critical? Because we need to be. We need to be critical. We need to hold each other accountable. Other communities do that. And that's sometimes how they move forward.
Yep. And I also have to say that some people, like, especially when it's celebrities, if they're not in the political realm, like, I get that they're like, a celebrity in our mindset, but not every message has to be from a certain messenger. People could have the right message, but the wrong messenger, and it goes completely, it's dead.
And I agree with that. And that's really what happened. I think that he should have done that a different way. Again, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. He should have done that a different way. And when he went on to the explanation, it still wasn't anything. I was just like, I'm not understanding. There were a lot of people disappointed in how he approached that. I'm not knocking him what he was trying to do, but it was how he did it.
Yeah. Yep, I agree here. So sadly, we have to wrap up this awesome conversation. Dr. McGhee, thank you so much for being on here. I hope you have an awesome day, and I hope you come back, because I love talking to you, and clearly the viewers love talking to you. But before we go, I want you guys to know that you can help raise money to give to young women who are discharged from Oak Creek Youth Correctional Center and have them have a second chance. You can donate to www.drramycia.org/donate, guys, because her scholarship is absolutely amazing. And Dr. McGhee, can you tell people also how to get connected to you on if there's any young women who want to know more about the scholarship and opportunity?
Yes, you can reach me at RamyciaMcGhee@gmail.com. drramycia.org is another great place to reach me. You can like our page on Facebook at Second Chance Opportunity Scholarship, and then you can follow us on Instagram at Second Chance Scholarship Opportunity. That's where I am. My cell phone number, if you want to just give me a quick call, is 312-315-8191. Just be mindful that I am on Pacific time. It's just making 7 a.m. Y'all got me up early to do what I got to do. I appreciate it.
No problem, but thank you so much again, Dr. McGhee. It was a joy having you here, and I hope you have an awesome day. You got to get some extra sleep. You could go do that. But
I'm up now. Look, it's gonna be. I'm gonna give me some tea and probably grade a few papers. But you all have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for this opportunity. And I look forward to coming back on.
Awesome. Looking forward to speak with you. Bye.
Weekends on UME Radio. Get the UME Radio app.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Oh, yes, girl. Get your cup of tea and mic check, 1, 2. I am so ready
To inspire, motivate, and educate. Weekends on UME Radio. The sun is up, and so are we.
News, interviews, hot topics. Connect with us. Let us know what's on your mind. Follow, comment, subscribe.
We're everywhere. UME Radio app, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, and all other digital platforms. Email us info@umeradio.com. On WhatsApp, 201-503-6731. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UME Radio. Follow me, Jesse, on Instagram at ink.jess, that's ink.jess, and on Facebook at Jesselyn Abel, that's JESSELYNE, Abel, ABEL.
And follow me, Marsha J, on all social media platforms at official Marsha J. Or you can just check out marshajnow.com.
Weekends on UME Radio with Marsha J and Jesse.
Amplifying the voice of positive influencers.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.